situation is one of closure and anticipation of the future. It really is an honor to be here with this distinguished group of people up on the stage, and more importantly, with you and your families today as you celebrate this great accomplishment. The U.S. military places great value on education, almost to the point where it is one of the #1 things that we hold dear. We think it's very important. If you look at our enlisted force in the United States Air Force, only about 6% have a Bachelor of Science degree. Our officers are virtually required to get a master's degree in some discipline. And as we look at the future of our military, I would offer that those kind of commitments and those kind of distinguishing characteristics are what we're going to be looking for as we shape that military of the future. Education is important to you personally and professionally. Professionally, it shows that you have the ability and the dedication to get to the next step, to make a commitment that you can achieve, and achieve something remarkable. Personally, it sends a message to all that you know and all that you will meet in the future, that you stand up and are ready to lead and contribute at a greater level. Education gives you a way to look at the world a little bit differently. It gives you the opportunity from a greater knowledge base to analyze problems with the critical thinking skills that hopefully you've developed over these past many years, and come up with great solutions, or even better, combine that analysis with creativity and synthesize something that's greater than the sum of its parts. For example, this past week, Colonel Shepard, I see Dale Sonnenberg in the crowd back there, and I were kind of beset with a small problem that was facing us from over in North Korea. It was a problem that had a lot of different dimensions to it. There was a lot of technical pieces, both from how we were going to look at that rocket launch and how we were going to set our forces. It had some social pieces to it on how we were going to reassure the populations in Korea, in Japan, both Korean, American, and other nationalities. It had obviously some great political implications that we're still going to see how that folds out. But those were the kind of challenges that we were dealing with this past week. And I can tell you, we were looking for people with ideas. We were looking for people with creativity. We were looking for people with analytical backgrounds that could offer unique solutions to a unique problem. We were looking for people like you. So congratulations on this great achievement. In 1979, May 30th, 1979, that day dawned with a small snowstorm, followed by cold drizzle, followed by a very overcast and dreary day. And on that day, I graduated from the United States Air Force Academy, and as I recall, it was probably one of the most beautiful days of my life. So, when you look out the window today, and you look at that rain, I would say that in the future you will look back and you will look at this as one of the most beautiful days of your lives as well. I will have one piece of advice, and I hope you follow this. After this ceremony, go directly to your loved ones, to your wives, your husbands, your families, your friends, your children, the ones that supported you through this endeavor, and give them a big hug and say thank you. I could not have made this commitment, I could not have achieved this goal without your support. Graduates, congratulations. It's an honor to be here today, and I think the world of your effort.
Thank you, General Field. Delivering greetings to graduates today from the University System of Maryland Board of Regents is Regent Gary L. Attman. Mr. Attman is president of Future Care Health and Management Corporation, which he co-founded in 1985. He holds a JD degree with honors from the University of Maryland School of Law, where he published in and served as editor of the Maryland Law Review. Mr. Attman earned a bachelor's degree in accounting, magna cum laude, from the University of Maryland. He is a member of the Maryland Bar, a certified public accountant, and a licensed real estate broker. Mr. Attman is also on the boards of the Center Club, the Health Facilities Association of Maryland, and the Associated Jewish Charities. Please welcome University System of Maryland Regent Gary L. Attman.
Good afternoon. Distinguished guests, family, friends, and most of all, our graduates. On behalf of the USM Board of Regents, I am honored to be with you today to offer congratulations. For those of you who do not know us, the Board of Regents is appointed by the Governor of Maryland to oversee the 11 institutions in the University System of Maryland, of which University of Maryland University College is the largest, and some might say the best. Graduates, today you're graduating from one of the most dynamic institutions of higher education in the world. UMUC boasts domestic and overseas divisions offering on-site classes in over 25 countries throughout the world, enrolling over 95,000 students in undergraduate and graduate programs. And as we all know, UMUC is the leading education provider for the U.S. military. In fact, in a recent poll, UMUC was chosen as the most popular educator in the military, topping 49 competitors. It is an honor to share this day with Acting President Javier Miyares, whose commitment to academic excellence, dynamic vision, and insightful leadership continue to serve UMUC as a truly worldwide campus. I'm also glad to have another chance to share the platform with Dr. Alan Berg, the Director of Overseas Operations at UMUC and a Vice President there. Alan covers both Europe and Asia for UMUC, and as a result is always on a plane. During the holidays, when most mortal men would be resting, Alan has been known to teach a class downrange to give relief to other faculty. Dr. Berg, thanks for all that you do to make UMUC great. I'm also honored to be here with today's commencement speaker, my good friend Mark Renser. As you will soon hear, Mark is really a star. He heads the global consulting platform for international consulting firm Booz Allen and is an expert in national security. He has advised presidents and the Pentagon and has absolutely the highest security clearance. The things he does are amazing, and his contact list is the envy of Washington. But what really makes him unique is his humility and his selfless devotion to our country, his company, UMUC, and his family. People spend a great deal of money to listen to what Mark has to say, and we get him for free today, so I urge you to please pay attention. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the General for his comments, and it's just an honor to have you here, sir, and all that you've done. I mean, you're a tough act to follow, actually, up here, but great to see you. But despite the accomplishments of our platform party, the real stars today are you, our graduates. Congratulations to all of you. Reaching this milestone and earning your degree takes dedication, hard work, and sacrifice. You should all take great pride in what you have achieved. Likewise, I commend the family members and friends who I'm sure have kept you going. They have shared in your sacrifice and certainly should share in your success today. I understand that for many of you, this has not been the typical four-year college education. Is that correct? Yeah. You may have moved several times, been in and out of combat, or had a family member who did so, and taken some of your courses in person and some over the internet. For you, today's degree has been hard-earned and reflective of a passion for education and self-improvement. As a regent, I must tell you how wonderful it is to be in a room surrounded by students who have worked so hard for a degree and who understand the value of an education. It is because of your passion for education that we too have a passion for it. And I also want to thank you, so many of you, who are members of the civilian defense and armed forces of the United States, for all that you do to help preserve the peace and security of our country and the world. It is simply impossible for me to find the words to express the gratitude we all have for what you do. Your selflessness, willing to sacrifice, and commitment to our nation and all that it stands for are rare qualities. You represent all that is best about service. I know that by combining the challenges of both being peacekeepers, and students makes your accomplishment even more special. Now, the ancient Greek historian Thucydides put it well when he noted, when a nation makes too great a distinction between its scholars and its lawyers, let me start over again. When a nation makes too great a distinction between its scholars and its warriors, it will have its thinking done by cowards and its fighting done by fools. Thanks to you and UMUC, many of our fighters, and certainly those in this room, are also scholars. In closing, congratulations to all of our graduates for the dedication and effort you have put into your service, into your families' lives, and into your education. The effort you have put forth today in achieving today's milestone will benefit you for years to come. Your University of Maryland University College degree is widely recognized as an outstanding credential from a first-class institution. Your time and money spent will be one of the smartest investments you will ever make. I speak for the entire university system of Maryland when I say how proud we are of you and of the University System of Maryland and of the University of Maryland University College. We offer you our heartiest congratulations and our best wishes for success. Thank you.
Thank you, Regent Adler. In recognition of our distinguished faculty, it's my privilege to present the Stanley J. Drasik Teaching Excellence Award. The late Dr. Stanley J. Drasik served as UMUC's Chancellor from 1975 to 1978, capping his 32-year career with UMUC. Dr. Drasik was devoted to improving educational opportunities for part-time students and establishing teaching excellence as the most important priority of the university. In this spirit, we present the Stanley J. Drasik Teaching Excellence Award to exceptional instructors. UMUC students are invited to nominate faculty for this recognition, and this year we received nominations from more than 40 faculty members in Asia. This year, there are two recipients, Associate Professor Woo Il Shim and Professor Tom Ewing. I am pleased that Dr. Ewing is able to be with us today. Dr. Ewing, will you please come forward to receive your award from Mr. Miharis? Dr. Tom Ewing holds a position as collegiate professor in UMUC Asia, where he has taught courses in computer studies, mathematics, statistics, and astronomy. He began his academic journey at MIT, where he earned a Bachelor of Science in Philosophy and a Bachelor of Science in Physics. After completing 4 years of military service in the United States Air Force, he entered graduate school where he received a Master of Science in Astronomy from the University of California and a PhD from Michigan State University. Dr. Ewing has taught at several different institutions, including Michigan State University, Alma College, and Central Michigan University, and he has experience in private business as the owner of a computer software company. He joined UMUC Asia in 1993 and has taught in Korea, Japan, and Singapore. He's also taught in Europe. In recognition of your outstanding work, President Miharis presents to you the Stanley J. Drasik Teaching Excellence Award. Congratulations on behalf of your students and colleagues.
My better three-fourths is out there walking with you today. Congratulations to her and to all of you. It's been said that you start to receive honors near the end of your life. I considered not accepting this award, but I decided what the hell. I want to acknowledge those great Asian Division directors of the 1990s, Joe Arden and Paula Harbeck. It is my observation that Alan Berg and Doug Franklin are of the same type. I want to speak against the current attempt at Maryland to standardize teaching. If you want to be a great teacher, teach the material that excites you. Teach it in the style that turns you on. It's the enthusiasm and the energy that's the teaching, not the content. Diversity is strength.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now wish to introduce to you our distinguished commencement speaker, Mr. Mark J. Garenser. But first, allow me to share some background. Consulting Magazine named Mark Garenser one of the top 25 most influential consultants in the world. Executive Biz Magazine named him one of the top 10 game changers in Washington, D.C. As the executive vice president of Booz Allen Hamilton, a leading global consulting firm, which with UMUC has enjoyed an important collaboration, Mr. Garenser has served in a variety of leadership roles, including managing director of the global government business, head of national security and homeland security practices, and most recently as the managing partner of Booz Allen's re-emerging commercial consulting practice. Mr. Garenser co-authored the Washington Post bestseller Mega Communities, which defines how leaders in government, private sector, and civil society can collaboratively tackle today's global challenges. In 2008, he was nominated by the White House and confirmed by the Senate Armed Forces Committee as a member of the National Security Education Board. He also serves as a special advisor on committees advising both national security and energy. In addition to his public and private sector leadership, Mr. Garenser has distinguished himself within the UMUC sphere as a graduate student, chairman of the Board of Visitors, and a catalyst for the UMUC program in cybersecurity. Please join me in welcoming UMUC Board of Visitors Chairman, Mr. Mark J. Garenser.
Well, thank you, Dr. Berg, for that kind words of introduction and deeply honored to be speaking here today. And also thank you, Dr. Attman, for those extremely kind words. I can tell you, I spent the day yesterday with both Dr. Attmans, that'd be Dr. Gary Attman and his lovely wife, Dr. Patty Attman. Both were incredibly intelligent folks, and as you heard, Gary himself graduated summa or magna cum laude with the highest honors, as well as cum laude with honors, and I'm sure Dr. Patty Altman probably graduated summa cum laude. I'll tell you, by the time I got out of school, I was kind of, oh, thank you, Laurie. Well, spending the day with him yesterday, about 17 hours investigating this most fascinating city and seeing the juxtaposition of new and old and traditional and non-traditional, it was truly fascinating. And they were kind enough to help me get through the city, and they even taught me a few Japanese phrases, which I'm going to repeat here today, and you could see how well they did. Well, we'll start. We'll try that. Hajimemashita, Hanjitsu wa domo arigatou gozaimasu. You know, I'm especially honored to have been invited to address this distinguished, or soon to be distinguished, class of 2012. Yes, I have faith in each and every one of you who will in fact distinguish yourselves and accomplish great things, whether it be in the military, civilian life, or some combination thereof. You are graduating from a university college program within the University of Maryland system that is a world leader in adult education. Whether you're receiving today an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, or a master's degree, it tells me that you have the brains and the talent to accomplish great things and make a difference in our world. I had the opportunity just a couple of weeks ago to speak with Dr. Greg Von Lehman, UMUC's provost, while I was preparing my remarks for today. And he suggested I provide a message to those of you in military uniform, but I think his words are applicable to everyone here. He said the work in uniform is so vitally important, but it doesn't stop there. Because of who you are, because of your life experiences, and the education you receive, you are and can continue to be major contributors to our prosperity, our quality of life, both within the U.S. and around the world. So the key question, one that each of you will have to answer, goes well beyond actually how smart you might be or how many degrees or titles you have following your name. The question is this: will you allow your heart to play a significant role in your future? Will you find a fire in your heart to complement your brains and talent? Will you follow it closely and bring this fire to your life's work, both personally and professionally? Yes, brains get you in the door, but it's that fire in your heart that determines the degree to which the world around you will be a better place as a result of your efforts. This is what I'd like to spend the next few minutes on and exploring with you. That melding of head and heart, of finding that fire in your heart and that spark of imagination in your head at those pivotal moments in life. I'll share with you the roadmap that I follow, both personally and professionally. Sometimes intentionally, but more often by being flexible enough to reimagine, to change course when life events warranted. The one constant for me, and I hope for you too, is never losing sight of the importance of finding that fire in your heart and acting on it. Howard Thurman, an influential American author, educator, and civil rights leader who actually founded the first racially integrated church in the United States, certainly knew something about the importance of passion. He said, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive. And then go and do that. Because the world needs is people who have come alive." Alive in this context means passion. It means lighting that fire in your heart. So before I dole out any unsolicited nuggets of wisdom, with the hope that each and every one of you will find something of value to hold on to, let me share with you a bit about my life's journey, about how I came to stoke the fire in my heart multiple times under very challenging and different circumstances. Now, it was admittedly a circuitous route, including a major change in my career direction early on. I was born and raised in New Brunswick, New Jersey, in a suburb called Somerset. There were 5 kids in my family, 3 boys and 2 girls. And my dad was an important influence on my life, perhaps my most important. And his parents emigrated to the United States from Hungary. Now, my dad, as a first-generation American, worked really hard, and he got accepted into Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service. He loved geopolitics. He spoke 7 languages, and he planned for a long career in the U.S. Diplomatic Service Corps. But life dealt him a turn, and he elected to join the Navy as America entered into World War II. And then after the war, my father joined his dad to help with the small dairy they had and his 10 other siblings. Lots of entrepreneurial endeavors followed, including owning his own microbrew at a time when microbrews weren't very popular. But with such a large family to care for, there was never an opportunity for my dad to re-engage with his original passion, foreign service. Yet he put his all into every job, every endeavor, every occupation, and he taught me to do the same, regardless of what I would do in the future, to be the best at it. I attended Rutgers University, not far from where I grew up, and I entered the School of Electrical Engineering because they had one of the first biomedical engineering programs in the nation. I was determined to get a jump on the pre-med kids as I looked forward to a career in medicine. I worked nights and weekends as an administrator and part-time emergency medical technician at St. Peter's Medical Center in New Brunswick, New Jersey, to pay for my education. In fact, at the time, I was the youngest hospital administrator in the state of New Jersey. Now, I had many interests growing up, but medicine was clearly my passion, and I had my future all mapped out. Then my dad died unexpectedly. I was 20 and med-school was suddenly out of the picture. I needed to focus on survival, getting a job, and also helping my family, just like my dad did. You know, I realized I had a choice. I could have been bitter about losing the opportunity to pursue my dreams, or I could open myself up to the possibility of finding other endeavors that might spark the fire in my heart. I'm not suggesting it was easy. It wasn't. I probably missed medicine for the next 15 years or so. But here's the thing I would grow to appreciate. Sometimes that passion is there from the beginning, and you are one of the lucky ones able to stay the course and make it happen as originally planned. But for most of us, life gets in the way and re-engineers that roadmap. I'm sure many of you faced challenges greater than mine on your journey to your graduation today. And you may even face greater challenges in the future. No matter what, we still have choices. And in those choices, we can find our fire. Now, the strangest thing happened to me as I was graduating from Rutgers and focused on finding gainful employment. It turned out that the mathematics I was studying for my coursework in biomedical engineering, you know, those principles used to measure a patient's pulse and blood pressure, was highly applicable to the technology that went into developing spacecraft and reconnaissance satellites. I mean, who knew? A rocket scientist. And at that time, in 1982, Booz Allen was in the process of securing its first contract ever to design these space systems. So I received the job offer as an entry-level consultant, straight out of college. 30 years later, still here. When I first entered the world of consulting, I was really confident in my intellectual abilities. Perhaps a bit of arrogance, but I felt that I had the brains for it. Of course, there were plenty of smart people all around me, as there are here today. What I didn't know was whether I'd be able to find the passion that I had felt towards medicine. To know that my heart, the fire in my heart, was in this new career path. If there was one key to finding a new home at Booz Allen, it was in the incredibly diverse practice areas which I was able to take part of and eventually lead. From national security, defense and homeland security, to healthcare, financial services and energy. Every new chapter was and continues to be very exciting to this day for me. I just needed to be willing to look at my life from a different perspective. Not as the doctor I had always assumed I would become, but to reimagine my life and to rethink it and understand that the differences that I could make in the lives of so many others changed. It may not be in the performance of some new life-saving surgical technique or medical procedure, but perhaps it could be just as rewarding in the ability to help reshape or change the course of a critical approach to cybersecurity or transportation safety. By allowing myself to reimagine the possibilities, I was able to spark a new fire in my heart. So please take note of this. These fires in your heart can be ignited. They don't have to be already burning. As my consulting profession at Booz Allen progressed, I made a smart career move by enrolling in UMUC's graduate program. Specifically, I was a member of the first Executive Master's Program for Technology Management. It was great. I was newly married to my wife, Maggie, extremely busy with my consulting work, and now in an intense 13-month Executive Master's Program that met every Friday afternoon, evening, and all day on Saturday. And the kicker, we got out of our classes at 9 o'clock on Friday night. Some of my professors, who shall remain nameless because they may be here, would actually give us homework due the next morning. Well, I'll tell you, that certainly made for an exciting first year of marriage. Of course, as soon as I completed my last class, I remember it well, it was a rainy day as well, on December 4th, 1992, I was able to relax. At least until my first son was born 8 days later. One of my professors, Dr. John Aji, who remains a good friend today, always notes my incredible planning ability. UMUC has remained an important part of my life ever since, and Dr. Aji was instrumental in my continued engagement with the university. I love the fact that UMUC focuses on adult education, which addresses the clear need to help create an educated and technologically savvy workforce. Some of you may not be aware of this, but several years ago, UMUC even launched a remote program in Iraq during the height of our military presence there, ensuring that our troops serving overseas would have the opportunity to further their academic education while serving their country. Nearly 5,000 troops took part in classes in Iraq, and nearly 11,000 troops have taken advantage of similar programs in Afghanistan. This is one truly amazing institution. And I'm particularly proud of the groundbreaking progress UMUC has made in cybersecurity education, creating the first online undergraduate and graduate degree programs in cybersecurity. UMUC is now a world leader in this important field. My company has a special relationship with the UMUC, providing training to most of our workforce. The shortage of cybersecurity professionals continues to be a problem in every sector of the economy, and UMUC is now a critical component of the solution. Cybersecurity is challenging the best minds of our generation, and solving it needs the other spark that I mentioned, imagination. I'd like to return to the topic of imagining or reimagining the way we look at things. Think about Steve Jobs, Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Jefferson. All had incredible imaginations. They demonstrated an ability to see a problem differently, more holistically perhaps, but certainly through a different lens. I often try to test my son's ability to imagine. One day, I was cleaning out the garage, and I found an old manual typewriter. I think many of you may have heard of that historical wonder, the typewriter. I asked my youngest son, Chris, if he knew what it was. He thought about it, examined it, and declared, "Wow, Dad, that's really cool. I've never seen anything quite like it before. What a great invention." At this point, I got ready for the usual teenage mockery of one's dad. But then he asked, "Can I get one?" And I looked at him, he was serious. So I said, "Seriously, you want one?" And he said, "Yeah, none of my friends have a keyboard with a built-in printer." When I was growing up, I loved trying to fix things. I still do. Ironically, I've become known in some circles as Mr. Fix-It. I guess it probably makes me good at what I do. I like to fix things, be it a computer, a Harley Davidson, or something easy like national security. At home, we have this 56-inch plasma high-definition television in our basement. One day it stopped working. Blank screen. My older son, MJ, remarked we needed a new TV. Instead, I took it apart. He looked at me and said, "Dad, nobody fixes their own TV anymore. In fact, nobody fixes TVs anymore." You know, our generation was about how to fix things, keep them going. But sometimes, the only way to truly fix something is to reimagine it. As you graduate from UMUC today, you are at a point of reimagining your future. In my position as a senior partner with Booz Allen, I interviewed a lot of job candidates. By the time they get to me, they've clearly demonstrated their considerable brain power. I mean, they have the smarts. What I look for in a candidate is passion, the fire in the heart, the spark in their imagination that will make them outstanding leaders who will energize people, follow them. Great leaders have another quality as well. They are humble enough to recognize they can't do it alone. Booz Allen's chairman and CEO, Dr. Ralph Trader, himself was a passionate leader, recently gave a talk on leadership and the depth of excellence. He said, "Excellence takes time and it takes others. Nothing important or exceptional happens in an instant, nor does it happen by a lone individual. He went on to say, whatever we may accomplish in our lives, we owe a debt of excellence to past efforts, triumphs as well as failures, that enable us to leave a strengthened heritage for our successors and to pay it forward. I had a personal experience about paying it forward I'd like to share with you. It taught me that even the simplest acts or gestures of the heart can be contagious and have important consequences well into the future. I received the following email a few months ago from a young man whose path I crossed over 6 years ago, and it read, "Dear Mr. Gorenser, I hope all is well. I was going through some old files this morning, and I came across your business card. I couldn't believe I still had it, but when I found it, I remembered exactly who you were. I met you one time in Peru. You were traveling with your son, and I was in my early 20s. I had no money left, and I did not realize I had to pay to get out of the country. My aunt, with whom I was traveling, had already boarded her plane. They would not accept my credit card. Out of the kindness of your heart, you offered me a $100 bill and said that you trusted I would reimburse you upon my arrival back home," which you did. "And from my experience, there are not too many people with your character and heart left in the world today. I'll continue to pay it forward on my end. Thanks again, and be well." You know, we never know when that next opportunity will present itself to show our heart and make a difference. But when it does, you need to have both heart and head, heart and brains to seize the moment. Several months ago, I submitted my retirement papers after 30 years at Booz Allen. I was extremely proud of the work that I achieved. Our chairman of the board, Dr. Schrader, suggested something else. He sat down with me and said, "I have this job I'd like you to consider, but only if your heart's in it." He knew me all too well, that I had to be passionate about the opportunity for it to work for me and the firm. I decided to set aside my retirement plans in order to lead the reemergence of our commercial business. The fire in my heart was again yet burning. A relatively obscure American author, T. Allen Armstrong, had an interesting perspective on this. He said, "If there is no passion in your life, then have you really lived? Find your passion, whatever it may be. Become it. Let it become you. And you will find that great things happen for you, to you, and because of you. Passion can be self-creating. Start that fire in your heart. Pursue work and life beyond work that stokes those flames within. And remember always to remain open to the possibility of reimagining a new and different path. If you do that, you will be enabled to ignite that fire in your heart." Congratulations to all of you, and best of luck to each and every one of you. Keep those fires burning bright. Domo arigato.
Thank you, Mr. Gorenser. Before the presentation of degrees, I'd like to share some information about the Asia class of 2012. The class of 2012 is a large one. 479 students will earn a bachelor's degree, 293 associate degrees will be conferred, and 11 master's degrees will be awarded. Half of our students complete their degrees in less than 5 years. In this year's class, one student worked an inspirational 32 years for their degree. This year's class is 55% female and 45% male. About 80% of our graduates are married, and about 3/4 of them have children. The graduates represent all 4 of the military services, DoD civilians, and family members. Statistics about this class clearly demonstrate what a worldwide university UMUC has become. About 3/4 of those who are earning a bachelor's degree with UMUC Asia have also studied with UMUC stateside or with UMUC Europe. About half of the 50 states are represented by those who march across the stage today. The youngest to graduate in Asia is 19 and with an associate's degree. The youngest with a BA is 24, and the oldest to receive a degree is a marvelous 66. At this time, UMUC will confer master's degrees earned by 2012 candidates. Will the candidates for all University of Maryland, University College master's degrees please rise? Master of Distance Education and E-Learning, Master of Business Administration. Mr. Maharis, in accordance with the recommendation of the faculty, I request that you confer upon these candidates the degree of Masters of Business Administration, Masters of Distance Education and E-Learning in recognition of their successful completion of all degree requirements.
In accordance with the recommendations of the faculty and under the authority granted by the State of Maryland to the Board of Regents of the University System of Maryland, and by the board delegated to me, I am pleased to confer upon you the degree of Masters of Distance Education and E-Learning, Distance Education Teaching and Training and Specialization, and Master of Business Administration with all rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations.
Nikki D. Tanner.
Will the candidates for the following University of Maryland University College degrees please rise? Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science. Mr. Maharis, in accordance with the recommendation of the faculty, I request that you confer upon these candidates the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, as in each case is appropriate, in recognition of their successful completion of all degree requirements.
Under the authority granted by the State of Maryland to the Board of Regents of the University System of Maryland, and by the board delegated to me, I am pleased to confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, as in each case is appropriate, with all rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations.